Welcome to Give Me Hope with Johanna, a place where real stories meet real hope. I'm your host, Johanna Vendel, a published author, speaker, and the CEO and founder of the prestigious International Hope Book Awards. On this podcast, we share powerful stories of faith, resilience, and transformation, conversations with authors, survivors, and changemakers who turned life's hardest moments into purpose. If you're searching for encouragement, healing, or a reminder that your story still matters, then you're in the right place. Press that subscribe button now and don't miss a story. So now, let's welcome your host, Johanna Vendel.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to Give Me Hope with Johanna. Today, I want to just tell you about the new clothing line that I've just launched for the Give Me Hope with Johanna podcast, with our beautiful logo on the front of the t-shirts, a big logo on the back. We've got zippers, we've got tank tops for the summer, and the link will be below in the description if you feel like you want to go check out our clothing line. Today I have a very interesting woman that we are going to speak to. She is called Dr. Iris Wright. Welcome to Give Me Hope with Johanna.
How are you?
I am very, very good, thank you. Do you like to maybe introduce yourself to my viewers?
Sure. I'm Dr. Iris Wright. I'm a 19 times best-selling author, speaker, serial entrepreneur, award-winning John Maxwell certified coach. Um, I'm a lot of things. So
Wow.
I'm excited to be here with you, Joanna.
I invited you to become a friend on my Facebook, and what I see of you and how much you do as well for authors is amazing. I just love people doing good things for other people, and you immediately stood out, and I thought, I definitely would like to have you on my podcast so that you can tell us more about what you do. Do you want to start somewhere?
Yeah, let's jump right on into the authorship with books. I am a visionary, so I love anthologies. I have done lots of books, working on my solo book right now, but I've been doing anthologies for the last 3 years. And anthologies, I want to say, some people like, oh, why haven't you just jumped into your solo book? I'm a we person, and that's what I love about anthologies. The solo book is all about me. And I believe that we're more powerful together than we are apart. And I believe that we can help each other. And I believe that with me standing with lots of other beautiful women or men is more powerful than just me. Um,
Yes.
we can get a lot more done. We can help lots more people. We can make a greater impact. And that's what I love about the anthology book. And I started off with I want to say I got into authorship not on purpose. I wrote in someone's anthology. It was a 500 word anthology, a small devotional. And someone had asked me to join. I said, I'm gonna join and, kind of see. And I just never stopped writing. I kept writing. And I went into my first anthology book, which was supposed to be a solo book. I was going to write my story. And then I ended up telling my story on social media and meeting so many people that was in my same situation. Um, and so I said, well, why don't we just do an anthology book and kind of do this together? So I totally quit the solo book and jumped right into anthology. And my first anthology that was out was called Injustice. And
Wow.
through that anthology book, I do that anthology every year. I'm not doing it this year. I'll go back to doing it again next year, but every year I've been doing the anthology. Um, and I have read so many powerful stories of what people have been through. And because of Injustice, the first volume, lots of amazing things have happened, and you tend to be able to find out where you're supposed to be in your purpose. So
Mm,
entrepreneur kind of brought me to that, finding out, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be, this is my purpose, this is my genius, right? And I met a beautiful woman, and I have to say this because every room I go into, every podcast I go into, I always speak of this story. Her name is Lashana Hicks, who's now my partner and friend. She wrote a story about her brother named Rudolph Turner. And Rudolph was 19 when he was incarcerated for a nonviolent crime, but he was given 80 years. He's been incarcerated for 29 years.
oh,
And after writing that book, doors started opening for us, and Lashana wanted to fight for her brother, so she called me up and she said, Iris, I think I'm ready to fight,
mm,
for my brother. So it's been a little over 3 years we've been fighting for him. We have done rallies, we have talked to so many people, getting for help to go in the right direction to bring him home. And I want to mention this too, guys. Sometimes we don't know why we are supposed to be in certain rooms, but you
mm.
are. So whatever that purpose is, join the room, let your
I
heart
do
out,
believe that. Hmm.
just be there, because going through the process, there was an event, not, in Virginia Beach, and I live on the other side. Traffic was so bad. It was so backed up. I was going to turn around and say, I'm coming, going home. I said I was going home 4 times, not to go to the event. I was so late to the event. I literally had 10 minutes left in the event, 10, 15 minutes left. And when I walked into the event, a young man was called to the front to speak. And his name was Tony Jones. And Tony had been through the similar thing that Rudolph had been through, but he fought to get himself home. And now he works for an organization to help others. So
My goodness.
immediately, me and Tony connected, and I told him Rudolph's story. And selfless Tony, the first thing he said to me is that now that I know about him, I cannot leave you. I have to do this with you.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he has been with us. Last Saturday that just passed, Rudolph just had his house visit, and he's getting ready to come home.
Oh
And
my
it
word.
started from writing an anthology book. So when we look upon, oh, where's your solo book at? Where's this at? Think about the impact. It's a greater impact for things. I can tell you my story, and I can write my story, and I can do so many things, but how many people are going to pick up your book and said, hey, we're going to fight for this person?
Wow.
In an
That is
anthology,
incredible.
yeah, in an anthology book, it's us, and we're not just writing the book because we're building relationship. So Shauna got to know
Definitely.
me. I got to know her. I got to know her family, and we become a network. And now when she calls me to say, I'm ready to fight for my brother, I want you with me, I'm going to go with her, and I'm going to join her. And that's what powerful is. That's how powerful anthologies are. So take those books. Yes, write your solo book, not knocking it at all. I'm writing mine now, but go in there, discover how you can build network, how you can build relationships, how you can help each other, because I like to read anthologies too. I'm always anthologies, especially if they're not too big. You read one chapter and then you're like, oh my God, I wonder what the next chapter is about, because it was so interesting in the first one, and you just keep reading. Versus a
Yes.
solo book, it may take someone some time to read the whole book.
Yes, yes, where in an anthology you can read multiple stories that gives you multiple inspiration throughout the
And
day, maybe, or throughout that story,
yeah,
and
and you can tend to get something from each chapter, because we live
yes,
a big life and so many things are happening,
definitely.
and you're like, oh my God, I've been through what this person's been through, and you you know we're sharing how we got through it, and some people might be actively going through those things when they pick up that book to read it. So I love when
Yes.
people purchase my book and send me an email and just tell me how my book has touched them, and what it's doing for them. But I strongly believe that, when you find your purpose and you listen, building that relationship, and I talk about that a lot in my book, building my relationship with God, rebuilding it, because I walked away from God and
Mm.
had to learn to rebuild that relationship, and brought
Mm.
that into entrepreneurship, and putting that same love that God has for me inside of my work. I think you can see that when you're working with people and when you're doing events or whatever you're doing, you can see when God has touched you. So you put that same touch, love, and grace inside of what you're building, for other
Yes,
people. And
exactly.
so that's the best way I can describe it. So I definitely, I love anthologies. So I will probably be doing anthologies forever. I don't know,
Yes. Well,
but
I'm also looking at an anthology soon, and maybe I should be in your anthology and you should be in my anthology, because it sounds exactly like what I'm about as well, exactly what you described there. If you go read about my story
yep,
and my life, you will see that that's exactly what I am about.
yes.
Um, it's very
Yes.
inspirational.
Well,
Wow. And
let's
then,
do it. Let's put it together. Because that's what makes this unique, just building that. And,
yes,
and I think a lot of times when we're in business and entrepreneurship, we're chasing money. And so it's big. Don't do that.
don't do
Don't do that. Yeah. M- And when you have God, purpose, passion, impact, and you have your integrity and morals, I swear to you, the money is just going to come. Whatever you put your time, your love, and your attention, it's going to grow. Be patient
Yes,
and enjoy the whole ride. I think sometimes we want all the good
yes.
parts, but we don't want to embrace the good, bad, and the
The
ugly.
goodness. Yes.
Yeah, all of it comes together because it strengthens us. If we don't go through anything bad and we don't have any setbacks, then what is going to teach us? What lessons are we going to learn? And
Mm.
it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. So when I jumped into this, I told God, I said, the same way I gave that job 110%, I'm going to give this 110%. Give it
Yes, that is.
110%. Give it all you have. And I know some people's like, oh my God, it takes too long, but you're at a job for 30 years, 20, 30 years. You're giving them everything. And then when you retire, you don't have enough to even sustain. Give this the same thing and build the legacy and watch how things just prosper.
Amen. Amen to that. Wow. It is so nice to hear someone else speak the way I think sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, in this world, and just being, this is 8 years for me as an entrepreneur, you meet so many
Wow.
different people. And I meet so many people that said, I have faith. I have faith. I have faith. But soon as the devil drops a poisonous apple, you go and bite. That's not faith.
Mm-mm.
That's not faith. And
Yeah.
so when you come in an entrepreneur, you need that faith. You need
Yes.
you need to believe. You need your confidence. You need your strength. You need all the love. And it's just a lot. And personal growth and development has been big for me. I love John Maxwell. It's been big for me because it brought out things that I didn't know that I needed or seen in myself to be able to say, oh my God, I do this. I need to fix this. you
Mm.
know, and how do you do it? And just having someone to get there with you so you can continue to grow. And so many people say, you do so many things, and how are you doing this and this? And only God, really, because sometimes I'm wild. I'm like, oh my God, I just did this. So, but I just thank him. Like seriously, I don't care what anybody say. I just thank him. I just love him. I don't have to preach about him. I'm always leery about people just go off preaching all the time. Da, 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 da. I need to see your actions. I need to see
I
how
was
you
just going to
treat
say,
people
you have to see how God works through that person by their actions.
by their actions.
Because if you say everything, but you don't do, then how can you believe that that person is living the right way and
Yeah,
living the way they want to speak and let people believe who they are?
exactly, exactly. And in this business that we're in, those of us, I mean, I've made it through COVID. I made it through so many things, and COVID was the beginning, almost the beginning of my entrepreneurship. And I had to figure out how to pivot. Okay, how do I do
Yeah.
this? What am I do this? And you're constantly learning. And even with now technology and AI, you're like, oh my, do I have the right systems? Is my system still good enough for what I'm doing?
Mm.
All different types of questions to know what part that I need to integrate and what part I don't need to fool with, right? Um, so it's just so many things. And then you got to find out yourself. Who am I and what do I enjoy doing? Because I always tell people my businesses is my safe place. I can literally work all day, because I love it so much, right? But when you have things in there that okay, I don't really like this, and you can make the changes on how things are supposed to go. I love this, but it's these parts here that I don't like to know. And I have experienced it all, being
Mm.
the owner of a home care company. I said, oh my God, I do not like having employees. This is crazy, Um, it was so many different reasons in growing that and saying, I don't want this responsibility in this way, and it takes a strong person to realize that, I love you, but I don't want it. But I love taking care of my seniors. They mean so much to me. In the world that we're living in today, that was a big thought for me in growing a home care company because you put a lot of your heart into your employees, to your customers, and then those same people that you put all that love and attention to are the same ones that try to steal from you. And you're like, oh my God, am I too close to them? What should I do? I had to discover, how do I set boundaries? Because I want to treat them this way. I want to do this. And now it was one of the wake up
See,
calls
that
where I
is
said,
where trust come in.
yes. And I was like, oh my God, this is why big companies may not do this because of this, right? Because I walked into home care believing that my staff was family and I wanted to treat them like family. And I
Mm.
learned that, oh my God, no, 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 no. The same people that you do all of that for will be the same people that hurt you, that steal from you,
Oh,
that do things for you. It's just so much. So it's so many lessons to learn in
oh.
entrepreneurship and who you are, what you're looking for, and what you're willing to accept and build from. And I
Yeah,
said,
it's not nice to hear that, I'm sorry that that happened to you. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I don't
but
know what to say. It's not nice to hear that.
you know what though? It is something that you have to go through and learn. You get to really see who people really are. So
Mm.
if you decide to move forward and say, hey, I'm going to keep, and I want to keep having employees or whatever, you decide, you can say, okay, now I know what to expect. And I know let me figure out how I can set these boundaries. Because that may be another education piece that I might need to learn and get some coaching
Mm.
on how to set the proper boundaries, but still show my employees that I appreciate them. And
Yes.
so it's just so many ways that, things you learn in your business and ways that you can learn to maneuver around. So that's why I love entrepreneurship. And then I just came to a conclusion. We just shut our home care company down. And I said, I don't want to work consumer to consumer anymore. I want to work B2B.
Yes.
And my
Yes.
husband, like, oh my God, you spent all these years building and da da da. But I said, with B2B, I could still help more seniors and I can help the agencies. I'm not losing the senior part of it, right? The agencies, but
Yes.
I don't want employees. So what I've done with the company is I partner with other businesses to form what I wanted to do. So I have no employees and be able to help people. And now I'm available in all 50 states.
Yes. Wow. That's amazing. Yes, I've also decided that it's difficult to have employees because everyone, if you have employees, they don't always do things the way you want to do it. But if you hire a contractor, they work for themselves and they are going to give you the best service,
Yep.
that you then want by the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also been done in quite a few times where I've lost a lot of money and trust people and things like that. And then they don't keep to their
They don't
contract
deliver.
and they don't deliver. And then sometimes to think about it, you want to go and maybe sue them just to go to court and get a lawyer and all of that's going to cost more money than what
And
they
it's a
owe you.
hassle.
And by the end of the day, it's just not worth it. But
I'm
that's
glad
how
you
you
mentioned that.
learn.
Yeah,
You
I
also
agree.
have an
I agree.
award business, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Tell me more about that.
we're doing our inaugural of our Black Diamonds Awards and Gala. It will be in the beautiful Virginia Beach. I'm super excited. It will be October the 3rd. We wanted it to be
Wow.
September the 26th because of something going on with the venue. We had to push it back. So I haven't not even made that announcement yet, but it'll be October the 3rd. And I'm honoring about 100 people. So it's a black tie event, so you gotta have a tux, a suit, your gown, you gotta look sharp. Red carpet, media, um, food, butlers. It's a lot, a lot. So, and I'm excited to be able to throw this event because it gives another layer to me when I say I'm doing something intentional and of elegance because being in entrepreneurship for 8 years, winning a lot of awards, um, a lot of times what we're missing in that is the intention, the value,
Mm.
um, the impact from behind it. We all excited to get an award, but when you leave there, do you feel the intention behind it? Do you feel valued?
Yes.
So I'm hoping that I deliver that. At inside of this award, we have the networking piece, we have the gala, and I've been planning this for some time and put a lot of love and attention to it. So I'm super excited to see how that comes off, but I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I think you've got it. One step at a time, and you'll
Yeah.
get there.
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And after just going through, like you said, people just taking things from you and you lose a lot of you too, just like you have. I've lost a lot of money doing different projects or whatever. And going to court. We just had a recent situation and I decided not to join in with the lawsuit, but to support the other ladies that's impacted by it. We did a anthology book called The Impact Leaders featuring Kevin Harrington. And the organization, I want to say like you can research sometimes and you still get a slap in the face. I've done book awards with them. I felt comfortable by going in. I started seeing the lies and different things. So I was one of the lucky ones because I stopped paying. I said, I'm not sure what I'm getting. I'm not getting $10,000 worth of work. And the book is absolutely horrible. They didn't, I think they tried AI editing. I don't know what they've done. They didn't market the book. We were told that they were going to market the book. They had us marketing the book. They didn't do anything. Um, it was a lot. And the owner was they didn't very respond. They wasn't very communicative about everything unless it came to money. They was communicative about that. But the owner, even when the response of what we had to go through, she didn't even respond with sympathy.
Oh,
She was very ignorant in her response, and which really broke my heart. And I see people all the time, going through this as entrepreneur journey. This was another wake up call for me because I had to kind of pray about it because I want to support the other ladies too, because some of them lost a lot of money and they were going through things and they were depending on her on with other things. And you
mm.
never know whose life that you're impacting or you're hurting when you are misleading them. And I said, you know what? You have to pick which battles you're really wanting to fight. I said,
Mm.
I will support you. I will write a letter, tell them my story, what happened, but I don't want to join the lawsuit because I just have too many great things happening. And I don't want to waste time on them anymore because we was working on this project for a year. So it was just too much. And sometimes you just got to think about it. You're very hurt by it, you
No,
know?
I've never done an anthology myself yet, and I'm thinking of doing an anthology now. And you saying that a lot of the people's stories was going through AI. How can you have
Well,
AI involved if the people give the story to do the anthology? Because if I give my story, it should basically be completely edited and formatted almost ready
well,
to just give. And eventually
not,
the editor and formatter must just edit the complete book. But
yeah.
they
So
shouldn't change your story because your story is your story.
no, they changed the story, and I guess they were trying it. Well, it looks like I don't really know who they used to edit. It don't look like editing was done.
My word.
But it kind of, to me, I was like, hey, they might have touched base and tried to get AI to edit the story and didn't properly do it right. Whatever they did, the book is not a good, it's horrible. I have a couple books on my bookshelf this because that's in the project. And I have some pictures and I still use, and at first I wasn't even going to use the pictures. And I'm like, I done paid, thousands of dollars. I didn't get nothing else from it. So, use the pictures. But,
Wow.
I really, in my heart, when we went to Florida, and that's why it's good sometimes to really pay attention and listen because we went on a mastermind and was supposed to do a mock book signing. I never heard of a mock book signing, but we went and do a mock book signing and had pictures with Kevin and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to say I'm not blaming Kevin for anything, but um they were constantly trying to upsell you, sell you coaching, sell you this. Oh, you can get on a podcast. It's normally $20,000. We'll give it to you for $10,000. And all of
Um,
all of that. Yeah, but I guess because Kevin's podcasts have a lot of following and people feel like, oh, this can take me somewhere. I'm noticeable. So it was a money grab constantly, pulling and pulling and pulling and not delivering the elegance as she should. And her award ceremony looked beautiful. So I'm like, oh, she likes good things. This might be good. And I said no several times. I said, you know what? Maybe God is telling me to step out my comfort zone. So I was looking at it in a different way and joined in. So I do want to tell people, have discernment. When something is telling you no, stand on it. It's no. Stand on it because something was telling me no. And so,
Sometimes you
and
have
so,
to listen to that little voice.
yes, definitely. And it was a couple other women that had the same thing. They said, we said no at first, and then we went back on it, and they lost money. And some of them,
Mm.
because the amount of money, they wasn't just sold a book, they was sold a coaching program that she didn't deliver. They was sold to put together. One was said that she was supposed to be helping her with a podcast and all kinds of different things that they didn't charge for. And some of them lost a lot of money. And, I just, when you're in a situation like that, I pray for her. I
Mm.
really do because this woman, just how she spoke at the event that we went to in Florida, she will do anything because she doesn't want to be poor again, you know. Um, I remember her giving me a book and said, "Hey, buy this book and it'll show you how to run instead of walk." Right? And I got this book and I read about it, and basically it was teaching you how to use celebrities to grow your business pretty much, right? I still have the book on my bookshelf. It was really short read, got it off of Amazon, and I think, "Oh, thank you. Let me read it." Little pieces like that tell you about a person. This woman was a nobody. She got in the web, got some money to get in Kevin's and some other celebrities' good graces, and now she wants everyone to believe that she's a somebody. And she's convinced, and that's her mindset. She's in survival mode, I want to say. From
Mm.
when you're in survival mode, you're chasing something, and then she's jumping. Got the award show, then she jumps into an anthology she obviously don't know how to do. And now she's making movies. I'm going to teach you how to take your book and become a movie star and charging all this money. The woman is crazy. But um, you have to pay attention to things like that when people are moving around like that. Someone that's in survival mode, who's afraid of something, she's afraid of going broke, she's afraid of this. They will hurt you. They will steal from you. They will do whatever it takes because their
Mm.
only thing, they don't care. They don't care about your situation. Even in her email, she had no sympathy. She didn't apologize. She blamed everybody else for her mishap. She
You
blamed
know,
Amazon.
when
She
one
blamed everybody.
when one do want a documentary of your book, it is going to cost money, but
It,
let's change this conversation
yeah,
and into a much more positive one. And
yes,
you going to tell me about your company and what you do for authors. You said that you're having your gala soon, and
yeah.
um,
We're
tell
having
us a
our
little more
galas.
about your magazine and everything like that as well.
Yeah, we're having our gala soon. I told y'all about that. We have our magazine called Black Diamond Chronicles, and we have a new one called Iris. Um, Now we are a digital media publication as well as launching this week. We want to be able to spotlight authors, businesses, entrepreneurs, speakers, and give them a global presence. Because as you know, media, which is not free, but it's needed into business. People need to know who you are, get to,
Mhm.
like who you are, know what you're doing so you can get to your people to be able to grow your business, build those relationships, right? Um,
Correct.
but um, it's media. And that's what our magazine is doing. Our magazines are inside of facilities. Now we have the digital media publication where it's getting that digital presence. We just launched that on my birthday, the first one we launched on my birthday. And within hours we were able to go global with the digital presence of the magazine, having it with the making sure like you having access to your the search engine optimization SEOs and having it on Google, Bing, Yahoo, and just all over. And I know now like we're building our presence there and we're about to start running ads and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. Because we want our people to be seen and we want our
Mm.
brand as well to be seen as a brand that people can depend on. Um, so that's very important to me. So I'm super excited about it. We do different themes in our magazines. I know April edition, we have our founder from TIUA School of Business, Dr. Jacqueline Mohair, as our cover lady. And that book is on leadership. And so I always ask questions inside the magazines because I want to ask good questions. I want people to expand their minds. And then I want the readers too to know certain things to look for, whether it's in business and authorship, speakers, or leadership, or whatever the case may be, because you'll never know who's reading that magazine that can use that information.
Yes.
So, and then we're even on the digital platform, we have plenty of ad space, and now people can even take video, do a video ad, or if they have a clip from their podcast, they want to purchase a space and have that on there. We have that on there because we have our podcast, Real Talk with Iris. So I just love entrepreneurship and just coming from nothing, not first being an entrepreneur with $0 and being able to grow and build multiple businesses. I know how hard it is to be able to get media. When you first start, especially when you start from nothing, you're taking the money you're earning from the business. It's got to help you pay your bills. It's got to help pay the business bills. Then you got to put the money into media and marketing and everything else to build a foundation. And sometimes it can be very, very difficult.
Yes,
So
I know that feeling.
yeah, so I'm excited to be able to branch our platform and be one of those global industry magazines. And that was an accident too. I did it. I started the magazines for my authors, so they could have a presence, have something affordable. So, but now it's part of the family, and we just love it. We just, love it. And we have our new anthology book that we're calling for authors for as well, called The Power and the Jump, which I'm super excited about because we are wanting to go after the USA Today or the New York bestseller. But that book is talking about the good, bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship. And it's called The Power of the Jump, guys, because Steve Harvey started my journey. So I read Steve Harvey's book, Jump, and then I gave my 2 weeks notice and quit my job and started my company. And so it was very important for me after going through 8 years and experiencing so much good, bad, and ugly in entrepreneurship to go ahead and write this book. So I decided to make it an anthology called The Power of the Jump. And then I will have my solo book coming right after it called The Power of the
Wow.
Jump.
Wow. Very interesting. Wow. And anything else that you would like to share with our viewers?
I'm just gonna leave some words of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you do and put your time and give it everything you have. Show love, show grace, be intentional, and make sure that you nurture your craft when you're doing it. Don't just do
That
things.
is,
Don't just do things,
yes.
you know?
Do it
Um,
intentionally,
do it
and
intentionally. Learn what you're doing, perfect it, make it yours, and then do what you do with it. Don't belittle yourself for no one, right? Charge
yes,
your worth. You in a business, so charge your worth and get in the rooms with people that know the value of your work and who you are. And please, by all means, everybody is not in it for you. We're, especially right now, we're in a war. Prices are going up. People are hungry.
mm,
They do
mm,
not care. A lot of people don't care about you. Have discernment, pray, research people, really, really research. Even inbox people and ask questions about their experience with these people. Do your due diligence, because sometimes some of the situations that we fall into, even the previous one I spoke to, I should have done more due diligence
mm,
before closing in. Sometimes we're not asking the right questions. And if people cannot answer your questions or get offended, they're not the people for you.
yes,
Especially when it comes to you spending your money, because as an entrepreneur, we work so hard for our money, so hard to build, and you do not want to mess your integrity up because of just being involved with the wrong people. So just stay firm at it, build your business, trust God, have fun with it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, smile about it all. Just be happy and
yes,
help those people. So if you know anybody who just need help and you know that they need some help, maybe you can help them. If you can, help them. If you can't, give them a hug and let them know that God loves them. I believe that hugs saves lives.
yes. No, I agree on that as well.
I
I
believe it.
just I just had another podcast with someone else, and we were speaking about how a hug can just change someone's day.
Yeah, it really can. I was one of those people. I had been through so much, 18, facing over 20 years incarceration, tried to commit suicide, and I had
Oh,
a total stranger, in the store. I thought that I was ready to go home and take my own life. It was
Mm,
something about her. She felt something heavy and she waited for me outside the store, came back to the door, and she didn't ask me what I was going through or nothing. She said, "Can I give you a hug?"
mm,
And I just busted out crying. And she said, "I don't know what you're going through. I don't even know what you're about to go do, but whatever it is, don't do it." And she says, God loves you, you know.
mm.
And she
Yes,
said,
sometimes we need angels like that coming into our
"Yeah,
lives, but also allowing them to just give us a hug, because sometimes
yeah,
that's all we need is that
yeah."
sincere hug.
Yeah,
Wow.
so you'll never know when God places that person there. So if you feel like, oh my God, someone's heavy near you and they need it, they're going through things, just
Mm.
take the extra step to be kind to someone,
Yes,
you know?
definitely. Wow. Well, I really enjoyed having you on my podcast today, hearing more about what you are doing and what you are striving for. And I will definitely be collaborating with you soon. And may God bless you in everything that you do, that you definitely can do what you say you want to do the correct way, if that makes
Yes.
sense. So may
I
God
love
bless you in all of that.
it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and thank you for allowing me to be on your show. I'm excited.
Have a wonderful day, and then we will speak soon. Thank
Talk
you.
soon. Have a good day.
Well, that was Iris Wright, a strong and powerful woman. And it is amazing to hear what people will do for other people that needs that someone special to help them um, get their word out or their story out through her anthologies and everything. It is amazing to speak to people like that. Well, I am Johanna Vindal. This is Give Me Hope with Johanna. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. See you next week. Goodbye.